Have you ever started your day feeling like you did everything right? Woke up early, stretched your arms over your head, maybe said a quiet thank you to the morning light, and then walked to the kitchen and poured that first refreshing glass of water? It's what we're told to do. Every article, every doctor's visit, every piece of advice about staying healthy in our senior years starts with one phrase: hydrate in the morning. And so we do. It feels almost sacred. That first glass becomes a ritual, something pure, something good, something right. But what if I told you that very ritual, something you've done for years, could be silently making your mornings worse, not better? What if I told you it could be causing that strange dizziness you sometimes feel, or that sudden dip in energy before you've even had breakfast? What if that innocent sip of water was actually triggering a wave of internal reactions that put strain on your heart, disrupt your medication, or stress your kidneys without you ever realizing it? Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But the truth is, as we age, especially into our 60s, 70s, and beyond, the rules change. What worked for your body at 35 doesn't work the same at 75. And no one tells you that. No one sits you down and says, hey, the timing of your water, the speed you drink it, that could be quietly messing with your balance, your blood pressure, and even your mood for the rest of the day. But that's exactly what this conversation is about. This isn't about doom or fear. It's about awareness. It's about shifting from autopilot to intention. Because what you do in the first 30 minutes of your day, that sets the tone for everything else. Your energy, your focus, your calm, your strength. And if you're someone who values elderly wisdom, who believes in aging not just with grace but with clarity, then this is the kind of truth you deserve to know. So take a breath, get comfortable, and let's dive into this together. Because this is about you and the small habits that quietly shape your health in big ways. If that matters to you, then pause for a moment and hit the like button. Subscribe for more elderly reflections, senior health motivation, and the kind of inspiration that honors everything you've been through. Because aging isn't about decline, it's about discovery. Now let's talk about the first water mistake that catches so many people off guard. Mistake number 1, drinking water too quickly. I want to introduce you to someone. His name is Richard. He's 66 years old, recently retired. He's active, reads every morning, and is determined to stay healthy for his grandkids. But there's one habit that keeps tripping him up. Every morning, Richard wakes up, walks straight to the kitchen, and downs an entire glass of cold water in just a few seconds. He tells himself it's good for him, that it wakes up his system. But here's what Richard doesn't realize. 5 to 10 minutes later, when he starts to feel lightheaded, a little off balance, slightly nauseous, he assumes he just got out of bed too quickly, or maybe didn't sleep well. But it's none of that. What's happening is more subtle and far more common than people think. As we age, our bodies don't respond to sudden shifts the same way. Our digestive system slows down. Our blood vessels don't constrict and dilate as quickly. And our heart, especially if we're managing conditions like hypertension or arrhythmia, reacts very differently to sudden fluid changes. When you flood your system with water all at once, especially after lying flat for 6 to 8 hours, you're forcing your body to compensate fast. The water dilutes your blood's electrolyte balance, creating momentary confusion in your body's regulation systems. The result? That odd feeling of being off before your day even begins. But the damage doesn't stop at discomfort. For seniors, that sudden gulp can actually put strain on the heart, increase the risk of postural hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure, and even contribute to longer-term kidney stress. And yet, we never think twice about it. We assume water is water, and more is better. But the truth is, it's not just what you drink, it's how you drink. So here's what Richard changed. He started drinking half a glass of room temperature water, not cold, not hot, just neutral. And instead of gulping, he sipped slowly, over the course of 5 to 10 minutes. He let his body warm up the way you stretch before a walk. And within days, he noticed the difference. No more morning dizziness, no more strange stomach tightness, no more feeling like something was off. And what Richard learned is something we all need to remember. Your body is not in a rush. You are not behind. Your energy doesn't come from hurrying. It comes from honoring the rhythm of your body, especially in the morning. Drinking slowly isn't just better, it's smarter. That's what we call senior health intelligence, the kind that keeps you living longer and feeling better. But drinking speed isn't the only thing that matters. There's something else, something even sneakier that many people never think about. It's not how you drink, it's when you drink and what else is happening in your body when you do. Mistake number 2, Drinking water without checking medication timing. Let me tell you about someone else. Her name is Linda, and she's 74. Every morning she wakes up early, makes the bed, pours herself a tall glass of water, takes her medications, and then goes about her day. Sounds reasonable, right? That's what she thought too, until she started feeling strange in the afternoons. Her blood pressure became unpredictable, sometimes too high, sometimes worryingly low. She felt off kilter, unsteady. Her daughter grew concerned. After a few weeks of journaling her symptoms, Linda visited her pharmacist. And that's when the truth came out. Her medication schedule was perfect, but the way she was drinking water was sabotaging everything. Some medications, especially those for blood pressure, the heart, or thyroid function, are designed to be taken on an empty stomach with just a small sip of water. Others work best after a light meal. But what Linda didn't realize was that flooding her stomach with a full glass of water before or immediately after her meds was disrupting the way her body absorbed the active ingredients. Instead of getting the full benefit, she was diluting the dosage, sending the medicine through her system before it could fully take effect. The result? Her blood pressure meds weren't regulating her pressure evenly. Her thyroid meds were inconsistently absorbed. And worst of all, she was being told she might need to increase her dosage, when in reality, all she needed was a change in timing. When she adjusted waiting 30 minutes after a small sip with her pills before drinking more water, everything shifted. Her energy returned, her mood stabilized, her numbers leveled out, and for the first time in months, she felt like herself again. That's the power of timing. That's elderly wisdom in action. And if you're someone who takes medication regularly, whether it's for blood pressure, heart health, thyroid, or even digestion, this is one of the most important questions you can ask your doctor or pharmacist. Should I take this with water, without water, or after I hydrate? It sounds simple, but it could be the difference between a healthy routine and one that slowly, quietly works against you. Because even something as pure as water, when mistimed, can become a roadblock instead of a remedy. So here's what I encourage you to do tonight. Take out your pill organizer, look at each medication, then write down next to it. That's what elderly reflections are about. Taking small, smart steps that honor your experience and protect your future. Good. You might be thinking, okay, so I'll sip slowly. I'll ask about timing. But what about what happens after I drink? What if I just want to go back to bed or sit down and rest? Is that a problem? The answer might surprise you, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Because the next mistake, it doesn't happen when you drink. It happens after, and it's one of the leading hidden causes of acid reflux, chest discomfort, and even digestion fatigue in older adults. In the next segment, we'll meet someone whose morning habits seemed harmless until it started affecting her entire day. So stay with me, because this next insight might just change the way you treat your body tomorrow morning and every morning after that. Now let's go back to that question I left you with earlier. What happens after you drink that water? You've done what you thought was best. You drank slowly, maybe even waited to check your medications, but then your joints are still stiff. The blanket feels warm, and your body says, just 5 more minutes. So you lean back into the pillows, close your eyes, and drip. But what if that one small act, lying down after drinking, was quietly setting off a chain reaction that could cause you heartburn, indigestion, and even morning fatigue that lasts for hours? Let's talk about mistake number 3, lying down right after hydrating. I want to tell you about Martha. She's 79 now, graceful, thoughtful, and one of the kindest people you could meet. She lives alone in a quiet neighborhood and always keeps a glass of water by her bed. For decades, her mornings have followed the same gentle rhythm. She wakes up early, reaches for her water, takes a few slow sips, and then leans back into her pillows. Sometimes for 5 minutes, sometimes for 30. I've earned it, she would smile and say. But over time, something changed. She began experiencing a subtle burning sensation in her chest. Not pain, just discomfort, a sense of fullness. Some mornings it felt like her food from the night before hadn't digested. Other times she felt a little queasy, like her body was dragging instead of waking. She tried antihistamines, changed her dinner routine, but nothing seemed to help. It wasn't until her daughter, visiting one weekend, gently asked about her mornings that the pattern emerged. The problem wasn't her meals, it wasn't her water, it was what she did after drinking. You see, as we age, the lower esophageal sphincter, the valve that separates your stomach from your throat, begins to weaken. When you lie down right after drinking, especially on an empty stomach, gravity no longer holds that liquid in place. It rises. slowly, silently, sometimes without any noticeable burn. Sometimes it just feels like tightness or a nagging fullness that won't go away. Over time, that repeated exposure causes irritation in the esophagus, inflammation, and even long-term digestive discomfort. This is where senior health differs so deeply from younger bodies. It's not always about what you feel in the moment. It's what accumulates. And the truth is, lying flat too soon after drinking is one of the most common, overlooked habits that triggers acid reflux in seniors, even when there's no acid involved. It's the liquid itself, lingering where it shouldn't. Martha, once she understood this, made one change. Instead of lying back down, she sat upright after sipping her water. Just 15 minutes, that was enough. She sat on the edge of her bed, feet flat on the floor. Sometimes she'd stretch her shoulders. Sometimes she'd read a few pages of the paper. And what happened next surprised even her. Within a week, her chest discomfort eased. Her mornings felt lighter, her digestion smoother. She didn't need new pills, just new awareness. That's elderly wisdom at its finest. Recognizing that your body speaks in whispers long before it shouts. And when you listen, everything changes. So let this be your reminder. After drinking, stay upright. Even if it's just sitting on the bed, let gravity help your body do what it's already trying to do. Wake up, stabilize, and prepare for the day. You don't need fancy solutions. You just need to stop doing what seems harmless, but isn't. Because every little adjustment you make now creates more ease, more clarity, and more control in your life. And that's what Elderly Reflections are all about, turning small choices into long-term comfort. Now let's move to mistake number 4, drinking cold water first thing in the morning. This one surprises people a lot. We've been conditioned to believe that cold equals clean, that ice water is refreshing, energizing, even detoxifying. But for the senior body, that couldn't be further from the truth. Meet Brian. He's 76, a sharp-minded former Navy officer who lives by discipline. Every morning he follows the same regimen: cold splash of water to the face, then a tall glass of ice water straight from the fridge. He says it makes him feel alive, but lately that ritual hasn't felt as good. He's noticed tightness in his lower back, strange stomach cramps that come and go. His appetite is lower, and there's a chill in his body that lingers. Even when the room is warm, his doctor ruled out anything serious. His labs were fine, but still something wasn't right. That's when Brian learned what many never hear. Cold water, especially first thing in the morning, can shock your digestive system. When your body has just come out of a restful state, after 6 to 8 hours of fasting, your organs are slowly reactivating. The blood vessels around your stomach are still slightly constricted. Your kidneys are easing back into filtration mode. Your digestive enzymes haven't fully activated. Then, bam, you pour a glass of freezing liquid into that fragile system. It's like jumping into a cold lake without warming up. Your stomach constricts, blood vessels tighten, digestion slows, and your core temperature takes a hit. This effect is even more intense in seniors, whose internal thermal regulation is already more delicate. What happens next? Discomfort, digestive delay, sometimes a sense of fatigue that has nothing to do with poor sleep. And worst of all, if repeated every day, it can slowly contribute to kidney stress, especially in aging systems already under strain. Brian made one simple switch. He started drinking the fridge for his water. He started drinking room temperature water with a slice of lemon. Within a week, his stomach cramps stopped, his appetite returned, his mornings felt peaceful. That's the word he used, not powerful, not productive, peaceful. And isn't that what we're all chasing at this stage of life? A calm, clear beginning. Not a jolt. That's what inspiration for seniors looks like. Choosing ease over effort, choosing warmth over shock. So here's your takeaway. If you love the feeling of clean water, stick with it. But keep it room temperature. Maybe add a little lemon to gently stimulate digestion. And let your body wake up with you, not against you. This isn't about restriction. It's about rhythm and understanding that the life lessons from the elderly aren't always about what we did, but about what we learned to stop doing. Sometimes the wisdom is in the pause, the slower sip, the gentle shift, because those small shifts carry you farther than any dramatic overhaul ever could. Now at this point, you've made it through 4 of the 5 most common morning hydration mistakes seniors make. And if you've related to any of these, that's not failure, it's insight. It's information. It's power. That's how Elderly Reflections begin, not with regret, but with new understanding. You've learned why slow sipping is better than rushing, why timing matters when taking medication, why staying upright can prevent long-term discomfort, and why cold water might not be the best choice for your beautiful aging body. But there's still one more mistake, and it's the biggest. It's the one that doesn't come from doing anything wrong. It comes from doing nothing at all. Up next, we're going to explore mistake number 5, skipping morning hydration completely. This is the silent culprit behind everything from low energy to confusion, muscle cramps to balance issues. You may not even feel thirsty, but your body is still running on empty. We'll meet Elaine, who nearly fainted one morning before learning how to rehydrate with intention. And we'll talk about the science of hydration and aging and how just 1/2 glass of water each morning could protect your brain, your kidneys, and your clarity for the rest of your day. So stay with me, because this final insight may be the one that empowers your mornings and protects your independence more than any other. We've talked about the water mistakes that catch seniors off guard, the ones you never hear about at a checkup or in those glossy health brochures. Drinking too fast, ignoring your medications, lying down too soon, or pouring a freezing glass of ice water into a body still waking up. But now, let's talk about the most dangerous mistake. The one that causes more issues than all the others combined. And ironically, it's the one that feels the easiest to overlook. The one most people don't even realize they're making. Mistake number 5, skipping morning hydration altogether. It sounds simple, doesn't it? You wake up, you don't feel thirsty, maybe you're focused on getting to the coffee pot. Maybe you think you'll drink something later. And so the morning goes on without a single sip of water. You don't think anything of it. But slowly, quietly, the signs begin. A bit of lightheadedness when you stand up. A foggy mind that takes longer to clear. Dry joints, cramps in the legs or feet. A slightly irregular heartbeat. Fatigue that lingers no matter how much you rest. These are the whispers of dehydration, and for seniors, even mild dehydration can have real consequences. Let me introduce you to Elaine. She's 81, full of grace, wisdom, and warmth. The kind of woman who sends handwritten cards and still clips recipes from magazines. She's active, she gardens, she walks. She even hosts a book club on Thursdays. But lately she's noticed something odd. Some mornings when she gets out of bed, her legs feel stiff. Her head swims. One morning she stood up and had to sit right back down. Another time she nearly lost her balance entirely. Her daughter grew concerned. Was it blood sugar? A heart issue? Medication side effect? The answer shocked them both. After training her morning routine, her doctor asked a simple question. Do you drink water first thing when you wake up? Elaine thought about it. Then she shook her head. No, not really, she said. I wait until I feel thirsty. But there it was. That was the mistake. Because here's the truth that's rarely said loud enough. As we age, our thirst signal weakens. Just because you don't feel thirsty doesn't mean your body isn't dehydrated. In fact, by the time you feel the urge to drink, you're already behind. Think about it. You go 6 to 8 hours every night without a sip of water. You breathe, you sweat. Your body uses fluids for everything from brain repair to toxin removal to cell restoration. And then you wake up and you're dry. Even if your mouth doesn't feel it. Even if your lips aren't cracked, your cells are parched, your joints are aching, your brain is slower to respond. Your blood is slightly thicker, moving more sluggishly. Your kidneys are straining to filter without enough fluid to help. This is why that first glass of water is not just hydration, it's medicine. It's fuel. It's the gift your body is waiting for after hours of hard work overnight. For Elaine, all it took was one change. She started setting a small glass of room temperature water on her nightstand before bed. Just half a glass, nothing dramatic. In the morning before she stood up, she sat up slowly, placed her feet on the floor, and took small, slow sips. Within 3 days, her balance improved. Her cramps eased, her thoughts felt clearer, and for the first time in weeks, she felt present again. Not like she was catching up with her body, but like she was starting the day in sync with it. That's the kind of shift that comes not from medication or supplements, but from simple elderly wisdom. The kind of wisdom that says, even small acts matter, especially in the morning, especially when your body is counting on you to meet it halfway. So if you're someone who skips morning hydration because you don't feel thirsty, I want you to try this tonight. Let it become a quiet promise you make to yourself, a ritual of restoration, a daily act of care, because that one act can prevent the chain reaction that leads to dizziness, fatigue, confusion, and imbalance. It can support your kidneys, protect your heart, and help regulate your blood pressure. All from one simple choice. That's what life lessons from the elderly teach us. Consistency over intensity, gentleness over force, awareness over autopilot. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better. Now that we've explored all 5 of the most common and surprisingly dangerous mistakes seniors make when drinking water in the morning, let's take a moment to reflect. Think about how many of these apply to you. Have you ever gulped water down first thing in the morning because you thought it would give you energy? Have you ever taken medication with a full glass without asking if it could be affecting absorption? Have you ever gone back to bed right after drinking, thinking it was harmless? Have you chosen icy cold water over gentle warm hydration because it felt cleaner? Or skipped water altogether because your body didn't ask for it? You're not alone. Every one of these choices feels innocent, reasonable even. But when you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond, these small routines carry weight. And the good news? They're all fixable. That's what makes this conversation so hopeful. You don't have to overhaul your entire routine. You don't need to give up your coffee or take 10 pills or spend hundreds on supplements. You just need to care, to pause, to pay attention. Because what you do in the first 30 minutes of your day sets the tone for the next 12 hours. And your body, your beautifully aging, deeply wise, fiercely resilient body deserves that intention. It's frustrating, isn't it? To be told that something as basic as a glass of water needs rules. It can feel unfair, like the very things you used to do without thinking now need careful planning. But that's not failure. That's not weakness. That's the transition of wisdom. That's what aging well looks like, not ignoring your body, but learning it all over again, listening more closely, responding more gently. Aging is not a surrender, it's a recalibration. And hydration, it's the beginning of that recalibration every single morning. So here's what I invite you to remember as you walk away from this video. Drink slowly. Don't rush your body. Know your medications and how they interact with water. Stay upright after drinking. Give your digestion the support it needs. Skip the icy cold shock. Your organs will thank you. And whatever you do, don't skip hydration altogether. Your body is never asking for perfection. It's only ever asking for partnership. And when you choose to meet it with kindness, something beautiful happens. You stop surviving the day and start living it. That's elderly inspiration. That's elderly strength. And that's what every one of us deserves. So if this video gave you a moment of clarity or reminded you of your own strength, I hope you'll share it. Drop a comment. Tell me which mistakes surprised you the most. What change are you going to try tomorrow morning? Your story might be the one that helps another person feel seen, because sometimes all it takes is one shift, one insight, one gentle reminder, and everything changes. Thank you for spending these minutes with me today. Your presence matters, your choices matter, and your health, your future, is still in your hands. So tomorrow morning, before the noise of the day takes over, sit up slowly, take that sip of water, and remind yourself, you are not behind, you are not broken, you are becoming, still growing, still wise, still full of power. That's the gift of aging. That's the beauty of elderly reflections. Stay strong, stay curious, and above all, stay kind to your body. I'll see you in the next video.